All right, bam, we're live. Welcome. Let's break this down. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, hey, good to see you. Welcome. All right, we're talking remodeling. You got questions, I got answers. Kind of smart. All right, see what we can do here. All right. See if there's any remodelers still up tonight. Yeah, Friday night, cold, wintertime. All right, let's get started. Yep, welcome. Let me put this screen over here. Yeah. All right. There we go. That's better. All right. So here we go. Why does free always cost you the most? Right? That's the question. Most people don't want to believe it. They're frustrated by it. So let's talk about it. You ever notice how it's always the people that want everything for free or a discount that end up being the ones that give you the most trouble? Yeah. Constant issues, complaining about the smallest minute details. Like here you are, you're contributing, right? You're giving some advice, you answer questions, you probably even help follow up with a phone call, maybe even a little voice memo. You hop on a call, you try to help, you're on the job site, you might even be saying, hey, I'll do that for you. We'll take care of that. We're talented. And the folks that pay you the least, somehow they always got the most to say. That's the way it goes. Happens enough that you know exactly what I'm talking about if you've been in this business for a while, right? All right, so tonight we're going to talk about why this happens and how it's connected to the type of clients that you keep attracting. Uh, Quick story. Some of you guys will find this interesting. If you know Tom Reber in the Contractor Fight, he started a online group Facebook community, and I don't know how long it's been out, but I've only been in it for a little over a year. I found it anyway. The point is, he's got 20 some thousand people in his group, and he shut it down this week. Today was Friday was the last day. And what's amazing about that is he's doing the same thing to the remodelers that he says the remodelers should do to their clients. Yeah, stop giving away things for free because people that take aren't who you want to work with, right? I mean, Tom runs a business. He helps remodelers increase their profit. And I don't know anyone that's taken his course personally, but what I've seen of his content, I think Tom's a sharp guy. I think he knows what he's talking about. I definitely think he knows how to run a painting business for sure. I think there's some nuances that I would disagree or have slightly different thoughts about when it comes to running a full service remodeling business. But whatever, his background's painting. My business is running, being the GC, running the whole game. So with that being said, I give Tom a high five and say congrats for shutting down the free group. The other thing I find interesting, I don't think he charges enough for his courses. I think he gives this stuff away way too cheap. Because when you do that, you devalue it. And the return on investment that people get from being in his programs it's got to be much higher, or else they're not doing a good job. Because I know the return that people in our programs get on their investments. They easily make their money back and then some and a whole lot more. And the higher level programs, it just magnifies, right? You put $60,000 into a training for $1 million a year company. The next thing you know, you could be doing another million. So think about that investment. That's more than 10 times the return. Um, I've seen it happen. I've had people, put up 100 grand for training and get back several million that year. So it happens. It's a reality. A lot of people don't understand it. And unless you've witnessed it or been a part of it, you probably can't even fathom that that is possible. And that's what ends up happening. So it is what it is. But what is amazing about his Facebook group, let's get back to this contractor fight, 20,000 people, boom, the group has been shut down. And the minute that he announced that he was shutting that group down, what happened? People started complaining. You believe that? He's doing it for free. Think about that. They're mad that they're losing something that they're not even paying for. Something that most of them never even invested in. I find that very interesting. So when I saw that, I decided we're going to talk about it. And here's why. You as a business owner, you need to focus on how are you being as a buyer from other businesses. All right. If you're the type of person who's always looking for an angle and trying to weasel their way in, what do you think you're going to attract as your own clients? Some people don't like to hear that. I don't want any business to give me anything for free. I don't want to be owed anything, and I don't want any outside expectation. If I want something, I pay for it. Does that make sense? I will give a something in return for what I'm getting. Don't take stuff for free. It doesn't, the universe doesn't work well. You got to put something in when you want something back out. All right, so let's break this down. Why do free people complain the most, and why are they costing you most? See, you as a business owner and leader, right? If you're trying to have your team grow and you want to attract better clients, you got to think about how are you patronizing other businesses? How do you put your stuff out into the universe? Do you respect other businesses? Because you want your customers to respect yours. So there's a principle, and it's called the investment bias. And yeah, they're big words. Here's what it means. When people pay, they pay attention, right? We associate value when we give something up for it. So when people invest the most money, hey guys, welcome. If you're new here, let me know what part of the country you're from. But when you invest money, time, effort, you end up showing up different. You ever paid for a conference and you make sure you're there that first day? Somebody gives you a free ticket. You ever notice how you're late? You'll show up like 3 hours after the thing started. That's the reality of the world because you don't value it half the time. So when I've paid to be in a room, I listen differently, I'm acting differently, and my expectations are different, and I show up different, and I participate different, so I get a better result or different result. So when something's free, there's no skin in the game. That's why free sucks all the way around. Free is bad for everybody. And I always look at it this way. When a local restaurant is advertising free, it lets me know it's crap and I don't want it. I'll go somewhere where I need to pay for it because I want something good. I don't want your junk, right? I don't want some watered down crap. I don't want, old food. No, I want quality. So don't go everywhere that it's free. And you'll catch yourself saying that sometimes, like, oh, but it's free. I should go get that discount. No, you don't want the discount. You want to pay full value. You want to respect the things that you get. Hey there, Tile and Grain. Welcome. If you're here, it looks like you might be joining. We're going to have you on the books for Monday. You'll be getting that invite. All right. So here's the thing about free. People treat it like junk mail. Okay. And it's because the brain goes, man, that's free. I can demand more and I risk nothing. It's not a mature way to be, and it's not professional to expect free. So A lot of us have grown up thinking we should get things for free because we were probably taken advantage of at some time, or our parents told us that's the way it should be. But when you look at the world, it doesn't run well when things are free. Okay. So if I want and expect my clients to respect me and pay for my services, because then when they do, I show up better and give them a better result, I need to be the same type of consumer. So it's everything about free is low level and junk. Okay. All right. So they talk about this thing called the mirror moment. And think about this: how you show up as a customer is most likely how your customers are going to show up for you as well. So we'll take a look in the mirror. Have you ever noticed that, like, something in this industry nobody ever wants to admit? Yeah, a lot of contractors who complain about those cheap homeowners are the same contractors who act as a cheap consumer. Hey there, Clint. Welcome. If you're in, good to see you here. All right. So people that want everything for free, they they just keep scamming and weaseling their way in, right? It doesn't work long term. And when people are doing stuff online, like, all of this takes time, money, and energy and effort. So you'll get more out of it, I guarantee you, when you exchange something for it. And I'm not saying this to, like, shame anybody. I'm saying it so that there's a real cause and effect that happens. As we get older and mature, you'll probably recognize it more, to the point where you'll notice, I just like going to better restaurants. I like staying in nicer hotels, because you recognize that time is short and you want better experiences in life. All right. So if you constantly show up as that low commitment and that complaining customer, don't be shocked when your customers that come to your business are the same way and treat you just like that. All right. So let's talk about some of the job site truths. What happens when people aren't valuing what they're getting? Right, we'll break it down. Here's what happens on the job site. You'll notice, you ever had that one job, the one where the client beat you down on the price pretty good? Yeah, they out negotiated you, made you feel like you were even lucky to be there. So you sign the agreement and then you regret it almost immediately. You feel horrible. And now, be honest, when you show up on the job, are you really giving them their best effort? Do you do the best work? Do you give over and above? Do you go the extra mile? No, you don't. You're bitter, you're frustrated, because in your head, you're like, they don't value me. So why should I over deliver for them? That entire situation, that whole narrative, is a waste. It's not good for you. It's not good for the homeowner. Should never be there in the first place. That's why you don't discount. All right. So how about, let me flip it now. Have you ever had the homeowner that was super excited to pay you exactly what you wanted? In fact, they might even said, I think you're undercharging me a bit. Maybe I should pay a little more. You ever notice how it's so easy to want to over deliver for that homeowner and want to give them more and work for them and do a great job? So follow me here. When you're being paid well, you want to provide more value and do a better service. So if you are expecting something from someone else, don't you want to be the same type of person, the one that's paying them more and saying, hey man, this is awesome, I really appreciate it, I'm going to pay you full price? You see where I'm going with this? Okay. So this is how you can find, when you charge a better price and you find the correct homeowner to work with, all the details start working out. There's more and better communication. They view this as more of an investment, right? So it works out for everyone. It's not random. This is how the human brain responds to basic respect. This is a value exchange that's happening. So it just so happens that money is often the thing that we exchange. So it's your way of identifying when people are serious. It's a way to identify when there's trust. And it's the way that commitments happen and you get better results. So that's why I recommend you consider looking at paid services, site visits, and paid design. If you're new here, welcome. Let me know what part of the country you're from. You got any questions about estimating? You want to talk about how the that huge Facebook group just got shut down? Anything you want to talk about, you pop it in there. So what I found over time is the moment that someone's willing to invest. Hey, all right, Jessica, tattered accents. Are you in Alaska by any chance? I don't have. Do you paint a lot of like industrial? I feel like you've been on here. You paint commercial spaces. You might have commented a couple times. I can't tell. Well, welcome, Jessica. If you're still here, let me know what part of the country you're from. Okay, awesome. All right, so you're in Illinois. You do residential work. You've been on a few of the lives. Fantastic. How are things? Do you find in 2026 to be good? Sales and being a better customer. How about this? I'll talk for a few minutes. You ask me any questions. So, I'll, nice. Awesome. Hey, high five to you. That's great. So you're already booked 2 months, and it's only going to get better because in the next month or two, homeowners are going to start planning to get those tax returns, and then people want to start doing their new spring cleaning. Doubled my business left. Yeah, there's no reason why you can't, Jessica. That's awesome. Congrats to you. Exactly. Yeah. You know what happens? Like you probably already recognize this. The holidays are tough for a lot of homeowners. They got all this crap going on, especially if they have kids, right? It's just too much chaos to even think about remodeling. But boom, once the holiday is over, these folks have been in their house a lot celebrating the holidays and they are ready to make changes. Yeah. No, you're doing that's amazing. We'll have to talk a little more at some point. I want to hear a little more about your business because you are crushing it. And very good. Are you strictly tattered accents? Do you do or you do like specialty painting, or is it like help me understand why? What's like the best job that you do for people? Do you do? Are you a creative painter, or are we just talking? I come in, I'm gonna roll the ceilings, paint the walls, just change color, or a little bit of both? Yes, game on. That is true. And Jessica, help me understand how many years now? I started specialty niche furniture cabinets, but went full service. Okay, very cool. That is awesome. Yeah. Is the name of your company Tattered Accents, or is that just the name of your TikTok handle? See, I don't know if I can look that up while I've got you here. Yes. Okay. I like the name. Very cool. So, what I've been talking about is, and I don't know where you fall on the scan, but tatteredaccents.com. Okay, cool. I will take a peek here and curious. But basically, what I was talking about tonight is, oh, you do cabinet refinishing. Okay, cool. Very nice. Do you spray? these finishes when you're redoing the cabinets? Yeah. No, it looks really good. Yeah, you got your mission statement. I see your vision on here. You got a nice you got your Google reviews. Okay, you spray them. Yeah, yeah. No, this is all good. You got a phone number, you have an email address, you actually have an address. You are you I can't tell you how many contractors say they have a business and they don't even have a basic website. I mean, so like you're already so far above the average. Like this is what a consumer wants. When a homeowner is looking to hire someone, they want to be like, is it a real business? So this is really good. You got your about. Let's take a look at your about us section. Very cool. Yeah, man. All right. So anyhow, what tonight was about is free versus paid. And think about this for a second in the way the universe works. And I don't know what your experience is with everything, but I'll bring it all together. It'll connect. Just follow me from it. A lot of contractors will complain about homeowners being cheap and not wanting to pay their price and beating them up on price and price shopping them, right? And you have to ask yourself, you personally, what type of a consumer are you? Like, are you always looking for discounts? Like, do you shop and say, what restaurant's having a sale or when's their buy one, get one free? Are you always trying to work angles and get people to give you discounts? Or do you flip it and say, I always want to pay full price and I always want to tip. I want to pay any other business owner well for their service and their time because I know the struggle that it's like for me. And if that is your mindset, if you pay others well and you are a good consumer of to other businesses, my experience, the way the world works, is the you attract those types of customers and clients yourself. So now all of a sudden you get the homeowner that says, Mike, we're prepared to make an investment in this remodel. We've been saving for this. We know it's going to be a sizable investment, but we want good work. We want to work with a good contractor. We want a good remodeling experience. We don't want it cheap. We don't want it discount. We want you to charge us an amount so that you're excited to be here. You give us a good quality of work and we get a good experience. Yes. See, Jessica, you are smarter than the average bear. Yeah, you get it. 100% winner, winner, chicken dinner. I've been, if you might be new, I know you've seen some of the lives, but a lot of my videos recently, I've been talking about sales is contractors get confused. A lot of contractors think I'm good with my tools, right? Or your paintbrush or a hammer. And they're like, that's what's going to make me the money. No, no, no. That's just what gets your foot in the door. That's what lets you onto the field. You make money and you operate and are successful because you know how to sell, market, advertise, communicate, listen, inquire, ask good questions, strategize about how you're going to position your service so that the homeowner understands the value that you provide, right? That's all business stuff. And sales is the number one driver for a successful business. No business goes out of business because they don't have enough sales. Because they have too many sales, right? They only go out of business because they aren't selling enough. Yeah, yeah. All right. Yeah. We're on the yeah, I got you. Same wavelength. So all right, so how tonight started, there's another gentleman that I do strategy, right? I'm a strategy person. I help businesses get to where they're trying to go. because I've been to where many want to go and I understand the hurdles. Okay, there's another person that does what I do, and they've been doing it online longer than I've been online. For many years, I was working locally for contractors in like where I could drive within an hour of where I live. So I would drive to their office, I'd work with the owners, I'd work with their staff, I'd help hire new people, we'd train them, right? Okay, so yes. So there's a guy, his name's Tom Reber. He runs the Contractor Fight. You may be familiar with it. I don't know. He's got a pretty good following, and he's been in the business a long time. So Tom and I, okay, no worries. So this other gentleman, him and I both got into the construction industry, I don't know, around the same time. Not exactly. I got into the business in the 90s, okay? And I started by buying a old house. I wanted to fix it up as an investment. So I had to learn how to renovate it, rehab it, remodel it. And I was didn't know how to do many of the things, so I hired people and then I'd have them teach me, right? It was like an apprenticeship for me. I'd pay them, but I would work alongside them so I could learn the skills. I didn't have money when I started. I had time and I wanted to learn how to do the work. So I typically would hire smaller contractors, older guys who would be willing to teach me stuff. Okay. Within a year of that, I decided I wanted to get into the business. I wanted to start buying property, fixing it up, and then eventually it led to me starting a remodeling business. Okay. Yes, priceless knowledge. So once I learned how to do it, as I was doing it, I found that I loved doing it. For me, I get a lot of excitement out of taking something that's in shambles and making it nicer. And I enjoyed being able to do that for others, right? You have a gift, obviously, for uh, what you do, your painting skills, and there's probably a certain level of satisfaction you get by being able to provide that for someone else who doesn't have that skill set. So hopefully we're on a similar concept there. Um, Anyhow, so this guy, Tom, he runs an online group and he has 20,000 people in it. And he was doing it for free for a long time. And he decided, I love making the old new again and revamping space. Yes, exactly. Okay. So same here. Now, for me, my goal had always been to have a business. I didn't necessarily always want to be a full-time carpenter. So as I started getting more and more customers, I started recognizing I want to grow. I want to make more money. I want to have a little more freedom, and I want to be able to serve or remodel more houses. And I enjoy doing this. I like being the orchestrator, I guess we call it, right? Homeowner calls me with a problem. I let them know, well, I'll solve it. I bring in the people, right? And get everything done. Okay. And then as I was doing that, that led to me doing this, which is now helping others because other people started seeing the success that I was having that they weren't having. And they're like, Mike, how do you do that? How have you been able to hire these crews? How is it that you went from this to that in just a couple years? I've been trying to do this for years. So anyway, this guy, Tom, he shut down his free group. And the reason I believe he shut the free group down is over time, people that only always take from you, that doesn't contribute like to a good situation. He has paid groups and he offers additional trainings, and I feel like that's where he wants to spend his time. But what was interesting, as soon as he shut the free group down, he mentioned he had a lot of people complaining about it. And all the people that were complaining were only the people that were taking from him for free. None of the people that were in his paid courses, his trainings that have excelled and doubled their business. Correct. People don't show up for free. They're not serious. He should charge for sure. Hello. Yes. So what is interesting about this whole theory is Tom also expresses to contractors that they need to charge a proper amount. There should be a fair exchange of value for their services to their clients. And yet a lot of his clients who are other contractors and painters, he started as a painter, they were taking all of his information, learning how to do their business better, and they weren't paying him for it. They were just taking it for free. So by Tom shutting it down, he did the right thing. Um, and he still has the paid groups. So where I'm going with this is if you're looking to have a better growth with your clients, you want to be a better customer. So that was what I was talking about. I think you get it. What are your thoughts? Mm, yeah, right. 100%. It makes sense. So what I've noticed over the years, when I was younger and I didn't know any better, I looked for discounts. I was cheap. I didn't know any better. But what I've learned over the years is cheap is never good. The reason that the local restaurant is giving a discount on certain food, it's because it's about to be thrown away because it's gonna like it's no good. If you don't buy it, they're tossing it. And that's why they offer the fish discount like on Tuesdays because it didn't sell over the weekend. I have a business coach. He started free too. Yeah, it doesn't work long term. Like a lot of people in this industry, you have to get your name out. So you like I do these lives, and these lives are for free, and you'll get something of value. And ultimately, what I think people are looking for is, are you making a connection? Because in for me, the growth in my business has always been who can help me get to the next level, who is going to help me learn the skill that I currently lack, right? The reason my business is where it's at is because that is my current level of capabilities. If I was more capable in a certain area, I would be excelling in that discipline. The same thing was true with my remodeling business. When I first got started, I really did not understand how to hire better employees, and I did not fully understand how to be a better leader and a better manager of these people. And I struggled for the first 2 years. Then I finally started realizing, damn, I need to pay people more money so I can attract better employees. Yes, exactly. And when I was about a year in, and I was at a conference and I heard some guy speaking, and I didn't even know about business coaches then, right? I was brand new in this world. And I listened to this guy talk, and I was like, damn, everything he was saying just had like, it hit me. I was like, that makes a lot of sense. And I hired a business coach right away, barely a year, maybe a year tops into my business. And boom, like it made a huge impact. Now it was expensive as hell. Um, and I used to complain about that with him, and I would tell him, I was like, "You better help me out, man. You're killing me here. It's crushing me." But everything I gave to him came back to me multiple times, and so it works, right? If you want to excel quicker, a lot of guys in this industry just beat their head up against the wall for 10 years, and that's why they're broke. That's why they're bitter. That's why they're burnt out, and that's why they're angry in all these groups. Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. Would you mind sharing who you get your help from, and how did you find your person? Exactly. Yeah, there really are a lot of crab ass. You know what it is? And this is hard for a lot of guys to hear. What I found over the years, females in general don't have the ego that men do. And generally, when I've worked with like husband and wife teams or females, they excel and have more success because the female will listen and is okay saying, I don't know how to do such and such. I want to learn. And then the next thing you know, you get the information and then you start growing and excelling. Whereas a guy won't know how to do something and will act as if he does for years. It's asinine. It's I don't know. Anyway, yeah, 100% ego driven. It's the Achilles heel. There are so many talented carpenters and hardworking guys that this gets them in all their own trouble. And you know what it is? They're frustrated because they've tried so hard that they can't get out of their own way, that they get to a place where they resent anyone else who does have success because they just can't fucking figure it out on their own. And the crux of the whole situation is they were never supposed to figure it out on their own. The whole point of going into business usually is you have to grow more as an individual, so as you grow, your business grows. Yeah. All right. Let me catch up on a couple of your comments here. Sean Thomas, Ask a Millionaire. Okay, found him here on TikTok. Very cool. That is awesome. Yes, very non-productive. Yeah, yeah. I can already tell. Like you're really this industry for you is going to be like taking candy from a baby. Okay, because all of your competitors are mostly men in general, and they're going to get in their own way constantly. I can already see that every time you probably meet with a homeowner, the homeowner probably naturally just starts gravitating towards you and wanting to hire you because you've taken the time, you've hired the coach, you've got learning the sales skills, you're learning the business side, and the fact that you can do the work, that's just the ancillaries, right? It's knowing how to be a business person and communicate. That's what is making you win. That's why you've doubled your profits. So that's awesome. Do we have Goat? Are you in here now? Anyway, so Jessica, you'll be able to grow your business to whatever level you want. What is your goal? Where you're saying double, do you mind sharing? Like, what is your 2026 end of year? Do you run off the calendar year? And what's your goal? Is it like 500,000, 700? I don't know. Okay, 250 and 25, 400 for 2026. And are you a solo person? Do you have any staff? Do you use subcontractors? I would have to think that if you're going to do 400,000, you have to have a couple people helping you, is my thought. Okay. Yeah, very good. Yeah, so if you have a couple family members, then you've probably already, yeah, thanks, Raul. Appreciate you being here. Jessica, you've probably already run the numbers. This is what happened for me. So here we are, my first year, and I noticed that if I'm only remodeling one kitchen at a time, or only remodeling one deck at a time, like building a new deck, if I'm only doing one roof, I can only make so much profit that week. Yes, I could learn to sell it for a little bit more. Yes, I could reduce my costs a little bit. But what I could really do is start having two kitchens go on at the same time. Or right, for you two, you could have three painting jobs. Now, as long as each job is profitable, my I'm doubling, tripling my revenue, and I'm bringing in more profit. Hey, Ray, welcome. So for you, yes, if you can keep up with your marketing, your advertising, I'm sure that you're excellent at doing the sales side. So now it's just a matter of making sure you have the network of people to do twice the work. You should easily bring in twice the revenue, and most likely it might not be twice the profit. It could be if your sales skills are up there, but the profit's going to increase naturally as well. So that's awesome. Goat, are you on here? Hmm. Ray, welcome. That's awesome, Ray. Very cool. Ray, remind us of your business, please. What's the niche that you guys are in? I'm, yeah. Ray, I feel like you have a business partner, but I'm not certain. It's and you're doing Ramon. Yes. Yeah, you're the business guy that got in. Yeah, yeah. You how are you guys doing? You were pretty fired up at it's been like a month or so since I've seen you on here. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So Jessica, Ray has a lot of business skills. That's why I'm pretty certain that Ray and his partner are going to do really well in the business as well. Yeah. Yeah, everybody has their own learning experience in life. We all think we know how to do things. We think we know how it's going to play out. And often we have to have our ideas shattered and fail. And then we're open to being more agreeable to a different way. And, I'm wrong all the time when I'm trying new stuff. Very good. Yeah, yeah. No, it's all part of the process. That's awesome. Yes, sir. So Jessica, how do you plan to find your new subcontractors this year? I bought him a goal journal and we spent a day setting Q1 goals. All right, that's awesome, Ray. What are some of your all's goals for the quarter? Yeah, well, often the dynamic. A lot of times we won't listen to a spouse because it's just like wah, 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 right? Because it's for whatever reason. And sometimes for whatever I don't know how it works, but somebody will say the exact same message, but we hear it differently from somebody else. Hey, good. Hey, contractor Damon, welcome. Okay. So you guys want to be booked 6 months out. That's not going to be you do if you're doing larger projects, that won't be big. That won't be too much of a problem. Contractor Damon, what's going on? What are your goals? All right, very good, Ray. Nice. All right. So Jessica, you're looking to add 5 to 10 subs, buy a vehicle, implement new systems. Okay. All good things. Yeah. You, Jessica, I have every confidence that you'll just slowly implement one thing after another, and you won't be deterred at any point, even if something doesn't work out the way you're expecting. So you will do very well. And those subs, I think Jessica, this has been my experience. I can share this with you. Give me a, yeah. It, here's the thing. Jessica, remember this. Right now, what you're doing is building your foundation. It's like a house, right? It takes a while to dig it out, put down the footer, right? And we don't see any progress because we're often going down before we go up. So the first year or two, it's a lot happening. But if you put that proper foundation down, which you are doing, then all of a sudden it starts coming up. And the deeper the foundation you lay, the wider and larger, the higher you're going to be able to build your business. It's just like when they build skyscrapers, it takes longer to go down and wide and then they come up. Jessica, what I think is going to be really good for you, this has been my experience. There are a ton of people that like to do work. They hate selling it. Yeah, you're building a skyscraper. So there are so many guys in this industry that like doing the work, but they are bad at the communication side. They're horrible with the homeowner. And if you have the work, they will love working for you when you just provide them, hey guys, this is the job. It starts next week. Need you here. Here's what you got to do. I'm going to pay you. If you can sell well, so you're selling at a good profit margin, you'll be able to pay your subs well, right? And as long as you connect with the right personalities, then you'll build a very strong team. They'll love working for you because you're constantly providing them with good work, and it's a win-win all the way around. We put together, Jessica, years ago, I started putting together a guide for subcontractors. And you're just like you put on your website, you have your mission statement, your vision. You will create this packet for your subcontractors because you're giving them the key to success. You're letting a subcontractor know, hey guys, you do this stuff and that's how you're successful here, right? Like you should have them fill out an application up front, get all their documentation, because how they do one thing is how they do everything. So if they have trouble filling out the application, then they're going to have trouble following through for you on a job site. But if they're organized and they fill out the application right away and they provide copies of their insurance and then they name your company as an additional insured and they just know how to do all these things, then you already now know these guys are going to be so easy to work with on a job site. So you want to set yourself up for success. When I first started doing this, the first couple subcontractors were confused. They never had anyone give them a packet and have them go through an application process, right? I make them apply. I was like, you want to work for me? Awesome. You got to fill all this out. I need copies of your business license, your insurance, your driver's license. You got to get all that over to my office. Here's the packet. And now we do it online, but you just easily hand them this packet and they look at you like they're all confused. And if you are that structured and organized, it's going to make their head spin a little bit. And before you know it, they're going to go, damn. So this is on my website. Yeah, you can get this whole packet. You can just get the packet. It's on there. Now I have an app where we put the application online. That's something separate. But if you just want this, yeah, you don't have to recreate the wheel. You can just download this. And then what I would suggest you do is you'll change some of the language because you're going to speak the way that what works for your company. Okay. But you have a nice welcome letter about your company. You're introducing the subcontractor to you. You explain to them what it's going to be like if they work for you, right? It talks about the application process, how you check them carefully. hopefully you're going to do this. If you have a sub that you want to start hiring, you have to go see their work. You have to show up on their job sites that they're currently working. You have to talk to homeowners that they've worked for. You have to talk to other contractors that they worked for, because how they've worked for other people is how they're going to work for you. And it's a whole lot easier to find out what they're really like up front before you start putting them on jobs. Okay? Because it's your reputation that's going to be affected going down the road. Exactly. So I don't know if you've ever been like a landlord tenant situation, but most landlords don't vet tenants. Most landlords never show up at where the tenant currently lives and says, "Hey, let me see how are you treating the place that you're currently renting? Because if I rent to you, you're going to probably treat it the same way." So, and we get into the art and science. And then you'll create a nice application for them to fill out. And then you should have checklists for your subs. This is what you do on a daily basis when you work for our company. These are like company rules. You should have some policies, how they're supposed to act on your job sites. Right. And then every project that you hire them to be a sub, don't just work off of verbals or text messages. No, you have an actual, just like you have an agreement with the homeowner, you have an agreement with your subcontractor. So, all right. Hopefully that. Yes. Yeah, because here's Jessica, when you understand this. This is how you rinse and repeat. When you set up the right foundation in the beginning, right? So I could be at any location right now, and if I bump into somebody and I find out they want to be a subcontractor, like, hey, we'd like to work for you. I'm like, great. I say, go to this website, you fill out that application, and then we'll talk. And if they do it, great. If they don't follow through, I don't ever follow back up with them, because it's that easy once you get the system in place. Ray, thanks for being here. Have an awesome night. Have fun with the guests and the line. Goat, are you in here now? Goat, you. Yes. Jessica, I want meet Goat. Uh, well, Jessica, real quick. Justin is in Las Vegas. He's just started his business. Just finished. Justin, would you finish? You just finished your first year. Um, he does a lot of, what do you call it now? Yeah, he's got a nice setup there in Vegas. 9 months. Okay. So, Goat, Jessica is probably a year ahead of you, give her or a little more, and she is implementing all the same things you'll be implementing. She's got her website up now. She's working with her business coach. She's doubled her income. So I'm telling you that it's not like it's rocket science. Jessica's doing all the right things. She's getting all the results that she wants. She's growing her team this year. So, Goat, I just wanted you to see you're not that far. You're just, you know what I'm saying? Okay. All right, Jessica. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, I didn't realize you. Yeah, you know what? I don't. I should share this with more people. The reality for a lot of people is they have to struggle for some time. We all have to hit like our breaking point, right? So rarely do people recognize quickly in their business, like, I really need help. I should hire someone to get me through this so that I can accelerate faster. But everybody, I'm glad that you have gotten to that point. It's pretty cool. You got the coach, you got serious, you flipped the script. Yeah, 1 year. It's like that. And now it's just going to go up for you 100%. So, Jessica, some of the sales stuff I talk about is a lot of it's rooted in psychology. Okay. Uh, I've been doing sales for a long time. I've done thousands and thousands of sales. And because once you get a lot of interactions with people and you start understanding, you realize people buy from here most of the time. Not every time, but most people, emotions play a big part. I used to be involved in real estate. I have a license. I was a licensed realtor when I ran my remodeling company. I was also a licensed home inspector when I ran my remodeling business. And I would see people make really poor decisions around buying houses. And it was because they don't think logically. They think they're thinking logically, but when you sit back and you don't have the same emotional connection, you recognize this is all an emotional decision. This is how most people buy. So when homeowners share with you that price is too high, or, I don't know, we have to talk about it. It's not at all that the price is too high. It's that they have some sort of an emotional blockage. Something isn't allowing them to connect to move forward, right? If you've properly identified the problem, if they really have a problem and you are a viable solution, if there's a disconnect, it's because there's some sort of emotional blockage that's happening. Okay. And it's like a game of chess. You have to make certain moves and talk in certain way, use certain languages and frameworks so that you can get below the surface to where the homeowner starts to share with you what's really going on. Then all of a sudden they're more than happy to spend money with you. And most of the time they'll spend more money than they thought they would because they now recognize what they really want costs this. I don't think I was ready until I was ready. So the timing for me is fine. Yeah, I don't, I would, you're absolutely, we all have to go on our own journey. That is a very wise, yes. I, Jessica, I agree with what yeah, there's, things happen for a reason. They talk about the refiner's fire, right? Iron sharpens iron. And we all have to, we are on this journey of life, and we all have we were born where we were born to the situation that we live in for a reason, and these are the things that we have to uncover as we go through life. These are our struggles, right? And the people that have, I find, the most enjoyment out of life are the people that attack the problem. They go after it. They're constantly trying to figure out how to it not be a problem, right? How do I elevate? How do I get to the next level in life? How do I improve myself, overcome this obstacle? The people that seem to hate their lives the most are the ones that complain and wallow and want somebody else to fix everything for them, kind of like a big baby being pushed around in a stroller that can't take care of themselves. So, yeah, we all have our own journey. We all have to, some people are going to get where they're going much faster and easier, and that was the plan that was supposed to be for them. Some of us have to go and have a lot more struggles because that was the plan for us. My kids were babies. I needed to be there. Yeah. Sorry to hear about your folks. That can be challenging, especially for yeah, to lose both. And yeah, the so your mindset, a victim mentality. Yeah, no, 100%. And it's easy to be that way because most people will acknowledge your victim mentality and agree with you. And that's like the worst thing, right? Um, at some point, you want to get around people that are like, hey, you got to take responsibility for this. Yeah. You've got the power to change and be different. Yeah. Oh, awesome. Okay. I follow you now. Yeah. Yeah. Comment on the people. Yeah. Yes. Most guys that are in the industry have that. They would say they don't, but they do. They have a victim mentality. They feel like it's happening to them, like the economy, these cheap homeowners. I can't find any good help, right? I mean that these are all lies. Like the reason you can't find good help is because you're not a good boss. Nobody wants to work for you. You've got to sit back and go, damn, what does a good boss look like? I don't even know. Like, how do I figure out what a good boss is? Yeah, exactly. It, here, yeah, Jessica, you're like, it's funny in this remodeling space. I think only 10% of remodelers will survive 10 years and be profitable. 50% will go out of business in the first couple years. 70 to 80% can't make it past 7 years in the industry. Okay. Yeah. Yes, Justin. Yeah, Justin, we all go through that learning curve. It's the only way it works. We have to make mistakes. And again, mistakes are a part of the process. Like you can't, if your mindset is like, I don't want to make any mistakes, then you're never going to have any success. I mean, even Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, his shooting percentage, he missed just as many shots as he made. Like every game, he didn't make every single shot, but he still went out, played the game, took the shot. You know what I'm saying? The business is the same way. We still have to go out. We still have to meet with homeowners. We have to bid on work, and we're going to lose jobs. We're going to have jobs that go sideways. We're going to miss things. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you look at Jordan's stats, you'll clearly see that it's not like he made all of his shots. He missed a ton. He lost a lot of games. He had a lot of problems, and he's still one of the greatest. It's like a baseball player too. Even the best batting averages are in the 300s, right? They're only hitting the ball successfully 3 out of 10 times. Yeah, yeah. Jessica, this is all good stuff. You know the things. Yeah, exactly. You have to find all the ways that didn't work to find the ones that do work. Because we all think we know. Yeah, exactly. We don't even know the things that we don't even know. There's it's a really good example. Most people would pardon me 1 second. I gotta touch something. Most people wouldn't even get into uh, being self-employed if they knew just how hard it most likely the journey would be. Um, I think like we all go into it thinking it's going to be at least for me, I thought it was going to be much simpler than it ever was, and it's been exceptionally more harder, more difficult, more challenging than I ever imagined it to be. But I'm thankful for that because when I look back, of all the skills that I've been able to gain over the years. Justin, I don't even know where you come up with your things. Yeah, but I can't. It's amazing when I look back at all the skills that I've been able to learn over the last few years. I never would have imagined I'd been on TikTok. I didn't want it. I didn't want anything to do with TikTok. The Vegas life, yeah. I only joined TikTok in May, end of May of this year. It hasn't even been a year yet. Exactly, Justin. No, it's good to have you need somebody to lighten the mood, right? Keep it real, as they say. All right, so Jessica, you're saying you'd love to do lives, but for what? And I'm scared. But yeah, so if it was, what is it that you want to show people? If what I'm going to make an assumption, and please correct me if I'm wrong. If you want people to see your personality and your business acumen, and yeah, all right, yeah, Justin, exactly. So like I would, so Jessica, think about what I'm doing. I'm just sitting here in a room and I'm going to talk about something that I'm familiar with. I'm familiar with selling remodeling. Uh, I've been doing it for over 20 years, right? And I have found a way that I feel most people, if they learn some of these skills, it helps them. Okay. You don't have to do it the way I do it, but there's some foundational principles, there's some theory, there's strategy, and then you incorporate it with your personality. Now, so hopefully, what I am doing is finding people through the TikTok world that would like to learn and have better business sales skills for their company. Okay. If you're painting and you offer painting services, if you just occasionally went live and talked about, this is what I'm doing today in my painting business. Today I'm running on an estimate, and you could have it playing for a few minutes while you're driving. Or today, this is what we're doing. And you could show people how you prep, especially for when you're doing that kitchen, when you're repainting cabinets. There's a ton of prep work that goes in. You guys got to, I mean, you probably use zip walls. You got to run the plastic and the cart paper. Yeah. So whether people love hearing more about you and your personality, they don't want it to be fake. Like, this is who I am, right? You're seeing, for better, for worse. Yes, and you can, yes, Justin, your business can flow in. So, Jessica, you just, what I do is I come on to the live with an intent. I'm every night when I come on to the live, I'm hoping to meet one new person. That's it. I'm hoping to make one new connection and meet somebody in this remodeling space. And my goal is to meet somebody who is positive, is trying to better themselves, has good energy, right? Yeah, there you go. You got it. And the first couple times for me, the live was horrible. I hated it. I didn't know what I was doing. And I work out. I like to paddleboard. A couple of my lives, I just set the camera up while I was working out. I did one. I put it in a waterproof container and I took it out while I was paddleboarding. Then I started bringing the live to work, basically, and that's pretty much where I've focused the last year, was just doing the live while I'm working. So like right now, I've got the computer here. I'm working on other content. I coach other people, so I'm working on like plans for them, strategy, trainings for their companies, and then I usually usually my live, I am talking about something that I'm going to be teaching for one of the clients. And this is a good dry run for me. I bring it up on the live, I see how it flows, I see if people are resonating with the topic, and it lets me know that that's a good connection. All right. So, yeah, go. You should definitely, you and Jessica should try some lives. I would definitely, I'd recommend. Here's what I did, Jessica. I committed to doing 30 days straight, every day, regardless. I'm going to go live. And then that 30 days extended to 64. Then I took a day off and then I started again and I did 100 days straight. And I prepared a 12-minute topic for every single day. And I was like, I'm just going to go live for 12 minutes and I'm going to talk about this topic. And naturally, those 12 minutes, people start jumping in, and then many of them have lasted an hour. Some days I can only do a half hour. It's so if you come at it with an approach sort of like that, I think it would work really well for you. And with you being, yeah, Justin, sometimes I go a little longer. I enjoy it, right? Like, look, you know, yeah. And before you know it, you'll be the queen. You could have a whole community of people following you, and you'll probably get other women that like to paint, want to learn about painting. You'll find clients, you know. Yeah, exactly, Justin. You can't always be 100%. It is a lot business focused, but yeah. And you start recognizing that there's a lot of amazing people in the world, and it's pretty fucking cool to be able to meet people from all across the country through something like this, in my opinion. Right? Like, Jessica, maybe you start following the channel. Maybe you reach out one day, you have a question. Who knows, right? Maybe something in one of my videos helps you with your business, right? That would be amazing. Maybe you come across somebody, you're like, man, you need to check out this guy's channel, right? I mean, that's all. It's like a big network. Jessica, you're up. What I think you're telling me, Jessica, is you're up here. Don't overthink it. Yeah, I hear you, Goat. Well, and look, back in the day, a lot of the parents' advice was accurate. But here's what's funny. As this is really a struggle if you're a parent and you have children, what you learned as a kid provided a good foundation for you because it was relative to the time that you were growing up. By the time that you have kids, the world has shifted, and it's very hard for the average person to recognize that things are different and they shouldn't, right? Like today, a parent should be encouraging their kid to learn online skills, whereas years ago they'd be telling them, no way, that's not safe. So, yeah, everything was different. All right, so Jessica, yes, you're a recovering overthinker. Yeah, Jessica, what I like I for me, take a few minutes, give yourself an agenda, put it up on the computer, a couple talking points, and then just go with it. Aim. All right, so Justin, the balloon pop game, the toothpaste. Hello. All right, I'm not following 100%, but I didn't get into any of those chat rooms. I learned how to do website development when I was younger. I was fascinated with that, but I never got into the chat rooms. I guess I was a little too introverted for it at that point in my life. Aim toothpaste. Oh my God, yeah. Growing up as a kid, whatever happened to that Aim? Aim was good stuff. Jessica, that's cracking me up. AIM. Man, oh man. Yeah, all right. Well, I have a few years on you, but yeah. Now I remember AIM as a child. I bet it's still out there. I'll have to look next time I wonder what chemicals are in AIM that we probably don't need in our life. Yeah, that's it. So anyhow, Jessica, you're gonna crush it. Justin, I already know. Yeah. So Jessica, all my strategy coaching is around helping remodeling business owners, grow their business, right? Take it to the next level. Um, I help people build sales teams, grow their sales skills for themselves, uh, all the frameworks. I had, I'll show you, Jessica. It's this. Justin's seen this before. Oh, man. So I think, Jessica, these are your business principles. So there's 6 key components to running a successful service business. You have to have your vision, your sales, you have to have your processes, you have to work with people, you have to understand the client journey, what it's like for the homeowner who's purchasing your services, and you have to know marketing and advertising. And then there's the vision, the leadership. So I help people incorporate all of this. Um, and a lot of it's working with frameworks it's the way you approach your business, right? Thank you, Goat. Appreciate all the gifts that you're given. That's awesome. Yeah. uh, Jessica, you're when you're bored you can check out the Remodeling Academy's website, and that'll give you some insight into what things I offer. You can watch some of these videos on here. um, if you ever wanted a strategy call, I do. If you download a copy of my book, it talks about my sales psychology a little bit. And then you could always anyone who downloads the book can do a free strategy call where I get to find out a little bit more about your business, and then I can share just a little insight in the moment what I think, something for you to consider. So that's how it usually works. And then we do a big thing we help people with is their systems, right? How if you're familiar with like CRMs, how you're taking all your client data, how you're storing it, what are you doing with a lead? So when a homeowner calls you, how do you weed them out? Then what kind of follow-up sequence do you do? Are you text messaging it? Are you emailing them? Is it automated? Like once somebody comes into your world, are you sending a sequence of events so that it's automatic, right? Things like that. Um, we set up landing pages for your web page. So you have a web page, right? And then we could set something up for you where when the homeowner hits your web page, they could book or get a free download, like a little guide about what makes your painting service the best. And then from there, it would have a link so that they could get on your schedule so that you could have a Zoom call with them or just call them on the phone, however you want to proceed. So I help people set up these automations because the only way you're going to be able to grow your business is you can't be doing it all. You can't wear 17 hats every single day. You have to get some of this stuff on the back end operating for you. And most of the time, you'll probably find that every homeowner that comes into your world, they kind of go through a similar process. So that's why we set up these um, automations and triggers where they start getting messages letting them know where they're in the process with you, all that kind of stuff. Thanks, Goat. Appreciate you sharing that. Yeah, about the way. Yeah, so collecting, helping you understand how to strategize, set up the structure for your payment schedules. Like, here's a little trick, Jessica. On your contracts with homeowners, most people in this space tie their payments to the completion of something. What I found over the years was there was always some ambiguity and what I thought something was finished versus when the homeowner thought something was finished. So I switched it. All of my payments, I recommend you consider doing this, are tied to the start. So for instance, in your world, maybe you collect an initial deposit, right? And then the next payment would be due upon start of priming the ceiling. Maybe the next payment is due upon start of first coat of wall paint, because starting is much simpler to define than finish. Whereas most contractors would say, I want my second payment when I'm done priming. Well, how do we know if you're done priming? Doesn't look like it. Is it? I don't know. But we all can agree that, oh, you just started priming. Okay. Little things like that help you with cash flow and help lessen the ambiguity that you and the client are experiencing during the project. Yeah. Yeah. So, like, yeah, I would now, Jessica, personally, I would, if I'm seeing you say 50% down, 50% of completion, if for you to grow, I would, I would ask you to reconsider that 50% at completion. In my personal opinion, you're leaving way too much money out on the back end. Yeah, I'm just sharing from my perspective, and I might be misunderstanding what you're saying or where you're coming from, but think about this way: I only want 10% left out at the end, so I would consider finding a way to break that second 50% up to where you're collecting more money, and then at the end, you're only possibly 10 to 20% of your money is left for when the job's completed. I don't know. Just a thought from what I'm seeing in the comments. Yeah, it's, and Jessica, I should be, if we were talking, I would be asking you some more specific questions, and understanding why you're doing it the way you're doing it. But yeah, if your jobs are like $2,500 or less, but part of me still thinks there's a way that you could lessen that last payment. Yeah, go. I think for your a lot of your smaller jobs, I think 50, 20, 25 is probably good. Maybe you, yeah. So just like, so anyway, Jessica, it's like if you imagine all these little things, right? There's probably 100 of them. If you just make these little tweaks in your business, it's going to allow the growth to work better for you, because cash flow is really going to be a bottleneck for most contractors when you're trying to grow. And you don't want to be using your money all the time. When I got into remodeling, I used to have to, I had a high payroll. I had like 15, I was like $20,000 every 2 weeks I was paying to my crews. I mean, to my in-house guys. And if I didn't collect money quick enough from homeowners, I was having to float payroll every 2 weeks. and then waiting to get paid back. That's not how a business should be running. The business should be funding the business. So the homeowners, you should be collecting their money in a timely fashion so that it's going right back out to pay all your bills as well. And that's what's going to allow you to grow and accelerate. And part of the issue will be as you grow and you lose a little bit of control, you want less things left to chance. All right, what are we talking about here? You got a couple comments. My repeats pay in full at time of contract sign. They don't want to make multiple payments. Yeah, I mean, if you can, I would strongly encourage you to get paid in full up front if you can, or at least, again, just a very small percentage left on the back end. That's awesome. Goat, you're saying, I feel like the wording of mutually agreed upon point. That way they have a say. Yeah, Goat, part of that makes me pause because I feel like in legal contracts, we want something that is definitive, that is less opinionated. Like as soon as a tile has been installed on the floor, we can all agree that the tile is new, it's been installed. So then I can be paid. So as long as maybe I might just not be quite understanding mutually agreed upon, but you should have definitely tied to something that there can't be an argument over it. No. Yeah. Yeah. So for, Jessica, for growing a business, capital is important. Hopefully your coach is working with you about you. Imagine if you just sell every job for an extra $100, and that extra $100 you start funneling into like your business savings account. So that you can utilize it for this growth that you're going to do. Like there's little strategies like that add up, because if you sell 50 jobs in the next couple of months and you sold every one of them for an extra $100 or $200 or $500, all of a sudden we have a nice pile that we can work with, and that will help us with the business, especially towards achieving that goal of getting the vehicle right, or providing the team with a uniform, or marketing, advertising, whatever, training, being able to offer the guys training so you can bring them off out of the field for a day, things like that. Yeah, so go as long as you and the homeowner are that mutual. I think you're saying as long as you guys both have something that is in writing in the agreement, that's what matters in contract dispute. Okay, it has to be clearly defined. That's all. So cool. But yeah, you definitely never want a lot of money sitting out on the table. I found over the years that it's totally we all are totally capable of getting a lot more money from clients up front when we've built proper rapport, trust with the homeowner. The more that you've emphasized and connected with them, the easier it is to get the money. The only reason contractors have typically trouble collecting money is the homeowner doesn't trust them. There's something off, there's something shady, there's something that's non-congruent. So if you're having trouble collecting money up front, then that lets you know that you're not doing a good job of connecting with the homeowner and understanding their concerns. Yeah. So Jessica, I have a CRM called the Remodeling Systems. If it's something that if you're in a place where you're going to be looking into a CRM, just reach out to me. Go to my bio, and you can book an appointment, and we could talk for a half hour. I could share with you the CRM that am a fan of, and we could see if it would be a match for your company. So there are numerous choices available out there. Every day, a new CRM is coming up. So at the end of the day, and this is a trite saying, like the best CRM is the one that you use. So for right now, you could just create a Google Doc or a Google Sheet rather. And as long as you start putting things there, that is better than nothing. A good CRM is going to allow you to have automations, workflows, triggers. Okay. So um, things like that you'll probably want to start looking into. Uh, Justin, when you say change your number, so I have a business number through my CRM, yes, but you can connect it to yours. I'll have to ask you more. Um, yeah, Jessica, there. If you're still trying to figure this out, the one that I used for a little while, there's a service out there called Zoho, and they have a very basic free option that you can, if you just want to play around with something, that's one to look at. They offer paid plans as well. So in the beginning, it's tricky because a lot of companies will offer you a ton of options and tons of services that you may not ever need or use. So, um, and the way different softwares are laid out, different, we all kind of see things differently in the world. That's why there's so many software choices. The way our brains work, they're just a little different. So some people will really love one software and somebody else, it will make no sense to them. Like it's speaking Greek to them. So there's a process for going through it. All right. Go. House Call Pro. I'm familiar with. I'm not familiar with Patriot. Yeah. At some point we may talk. I think you should probably look into the remodeling systems because we can connect it with your web activity as well. But yeah, there's a lot of yeah. Look, I know you're still in a building phase, so like there's um there's a lot of things that you probably don't have to shop too far for that we could get you set up with. But everything, eh, don't worry, it'll come in time. You'll get there when you need to be there. The Don't fall into this trap. Don't go out and just buy software to buy software. And what I'm saying is the software will make things easier, but you have to make sure you're doing it. You have to have the time, the energy, the effort, you know. Yeah, no, understood. Yeah, you want to try. Yeah, and you have to see what works for you. I get it. Jessica, have an awesome evening. Thanks so much for hopping in. Please do. Yeah. Go. I was hoping you could listen to what a little bit about Jessica. She's got a really good mindset now. She's definitely turned a corner, uh, you know, and she's doing really well with her business. So I think she said she did 200 and okay, cool. I think she's yeah. If you can scroll through the comments, I think she said she did a quarter of a mil this year that just ended, and she's on track probably to do 400 this year. So um, I you have to get your foundation. right? And that's what you're doing now. You're building your foundation. And as you put things in place, it's gonna get easier, brother. I'm telling you right now, like it's just gonna get so much easier. It takes time. Yeah. Each day, just keep doing the little things, the basics, like going on these appointments. How did that appointment go with the paver guy for the driveway? All right. Is that something that were you able to land it there? Like, were you able to get them to sign up and give you a deposit, or is it going to require uh, more time on their part? Okay, so you have to get HOA approval. Okay, cool, very good, fantastic. Well, congratulations. That's good. Are you gonna? Okay, are you able to advertise in that community? Can you put like a yard sign up if want? Will the HOA allow that while you're working there? There you go. Awesome. No, okay. Have um have you seen there is are you familiar with those pop-up tents? I'm sure you've seen them, like the 10 by 10, 12 by 12, the little easy up tents. Have you considered getting one that has that you logo up, and when you show up in certain neighborhoods, you just pop up that easy tent like in the driveway or in front of your truck, behind your truck, in the front yard as a way to help you advertise? Yeah, yeah. So what you've probably seen, you can get a side wall or a back wall, and the way some guys are positioning that allows them to have like a billboard advertisement while they're working in a community. Okay, very cool. Yeah, so you already know about it. Awesome. Dave, okay, very cool. All right. Well, let me check here. What are we on? I think we're gonna go. You should get some sleep. I'm gonna hop off as well. Thanks for joining on, and looking forward to you getting that paver job. And I want to hear. You gotta let me know how things go with the entertainment center. All right, and keep put Tuesday after lunchtime, your time. We'll get you in so you can check out this estimating software. I think you'll like it. All right. All right. It is what it is. But yeah, it'll be just after your lunchtime. I'll get you I'm gonna have the invite done this weekend. All right. You'll get an email. Yeah. All right, brother. Have a great night. Appreciate you jumping in.